So in order to, to have a space that feels like you know each other more, in order to have intimacy, it takes focus on each other, and that means focusing on with social, which is kind of weird. Like I'm sitting in a room with these chairs are all facing one direction, and I'm talking. Mostly, I'm still looking at me. It's kind of remarkable. I'm surprised. Okay, that was a good one. Let's be social. I mean, it's not designed really for that, right? This is designed for one-to-many presentation, and a lot of stuff is set up that way. And even the so-called social spaces of the web, Facebook and God help them, Google, is the most Aspergery place on the web, but they're all really competing for who's the most Aspergery at this point. And that's the problem, is we don't really have good social space. But that, trust me, is what most people are trying to do. And someone will, and the people who will de facto kind of make those spaces are often people that I'm calling tumblers. I have a show with Deb Schultz and Kevin Marks every week called Tummeling. Tumbling is tummel is an old word. It's a real word. It's a Yiddish word. Any other Jew? 2 Jew, 3 Jew, more? Right on. 5 Jew more? 6, 7. Look how it's like reluctant. 8. It's okay. It's safe to come out. Edgy. 9, 10.
Not Yiddish.
Not Yiddish. I'll translate. Okay. I'll translate all Yiddish in case you never watch Seinfeld. Eat a bagel. It's Jim. I didn't know you thought the hat. You were wearing a hat earlier. Okay. So a tumbler is this really old job, Jewish job, and you would hire a tumbler to come to the wedding and entertain, but also to get everybody dancing at the wedding. Yeah, or to get everyone involved. And if you went to the Catskills, anyone seen Dirty Dancing? Yeah. Jim's it's awesome. Julie's not. Who else? I don't know your name yet. Yeah.
Jaime.
What's that?
Jaime.
Jaime? Jaime or Jaime?
Jaime. Spanish, not
Okay, I was like,
yeah.
Jewy?
Sorry.
It's all right. It's good. Jews are very eager to make everyone else Jewish in some possible way. I also do a podcast, not as regularly yet, called Morning Jew, where we just go through the news and talk about everything, what it means to the Jews. You can make anything be about, you can do that with any topic. It's like you want like a framework, like algorithm for joke, that's an algorithm you can apply to anything for joke. Like just take a thing, make everything about that. Of course, when you aren't aware that you do that, you do it anyway, that's just like regular business, corporate, narcissistic business. But if you're aware of it, then it's joke. So, so I was explaining to you tumblers. Okay, so Dirty Dancing. You haven't seen Dirty Dancing, have you?
I've seen it.
You've seen it. Who hasn't seen it? Oh, this side of the room. I didn't get your name yet. Hank? Do you guys know Hank yet, by the way?
Yeah. A little bit.
Little? And you come here every month. Hank, where are you? You live down here in the valley?
I moved it.
Oh, from where?
Seattle.
Oh, I'm supposed to be doing this, right?
Seattle.
And I hear a trace of an Australian accent.
Yes. I grew up in Australia.
What part?
Sydney.
What's your name?
Mark.
Where are you from?
God knows anymore.
Not Australia?
I lived in Darwin as a kid, did 7th grade in Darwin.
What's that mean?
Found your primary school.
Yeah, 7th grade. Final year from National.
In where?
Darwin, the city.
Oh, it's a city. In Australia.
Yeah, Northern Australia.
Oh, Julie, the other Australian, helping out. So Julie and Mark, Sammy, you don't really know Hank that well,
but I heard the
you
Australian.
had to hear. You can, because it's kind of. I know Julie's Australian accent, but I don't know yours yet.
Okay.
It's a little different to me. Okay, so you didn't see Dirty Dancing.
No.
Okay. How old are you? Do you mind me asking?
25.
Yeah, that's why. Okay. You're not watching a lot of old, like Lifetime Oxygen reruns. American cable channels. Are you new to the U.S.?
Been here 4 years.
Okay, so not that new to the U.S. Okay. So I'll get to explain Drake answering to you. So it's this movie with Jennifer Grey. You might not even know who she is because her career's kind of gone, but she had a moment. Ferris Bueller's Day Off. She makes out, she's the sister of Ferris Bueller. Okay, now we're talking grass. So she was big in this movie where her family, it's like the 40s, early 50s, they go to the Catskills where people in the New York area would go on vacation, especially immigrants, children of immigrants in the area. And they would kind of live in these bungalows, like everyone had their little hut or little room, cabin that they live in, and they'd have this collective area where they'd all eat and there'd be a pool, and there'd be entertainment usually every night and at the end of the week. And a lot of the most famous comics of a certain era came out of there. These are like when TV was young, like the internet of its time, TV when it was young. Sid Caesar, Milton Berle, Mel Brooks. These guys were tumblers. They're all hired to work at the Catskills, and you see them if you watch this movie. You'll see people who are entertainers, but they're also very involved with everybody in bungalows living there. And if you watch this, since you're never going to see this movie, they're very involved with that family in particular. Very intimately involved. Jennifer Grey, saying she's kind of, or Patrick Swayze is your type, you should check it out. I don't know, making no assumptions. So that's the thing is, yes, hi, I'm doing a show, but I know you, you should get to know Mrs. Schwartz, because she has a daughter who's moving to Australia, and maybe you could help each other, get to know what's going on. I mean, that kind of activity, kind of part social director, part cruise director, and it's kind of catalyzing other people to action. And most of the conversations that really continue online, the real ones, not just the ones that the company goes, we would like to engage you in a conversation with our vibrant community, like the most people are hiring you guys to say that to. Like that's because there's someone there making it continue. So I don't think this act is kind of catalyzing, it's kind of continuing and threading and noticing, hey Hank, you look maybe nervous about talking or just being here, or no, chill, okay. Like that, no machine is going to do that. See what I just did? They suck at that. But that's a critical thing to being able to say, can I talk, you talk to here, what do you need next, who else do you need? And that's part of what we're doing all the time. And some people spend a lot more active time doing it. We would like to see more people paid to do this. I'm not just called community managers, and not just hiring a bunch of women because business likes to outsource emotion to women. And you cannot outsource human functioning as much as you might try. It doesn't work. You still have feelings as much as you don't want to have them, and you think we put them in a graph, they go away. They don't. So someone's going, if you want that real engagement to be there, you need to be listening, you need to read people, you need to know what's going on, and you need to help make these connections. And then if you want to scale the sense of intimacy, there is a way. I only have so much time. There's some notes that are linked on UnPresenting.com that you can read. But there are ways to really, while not talking to each person individually, still give a sense of what we're being here together. We're going to create a sense of togetherness without using that earlier thing I talked about, Ted, when I talked about the jokes, and I said, why are men and women so different? Okay, that's like a quick manufacturing era, in my mind, way of creating togetherness. A topic we all know about, here's a premise, here we go, blah, 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 here's my take on it, I'm the expert, here's the answer. We really are moving more to a time of needing collective inquiry, where everybody is the expert on their own opinion, anybody can get involved. Maybe what have you seen Dirty Dancing isn't the easiest opening question. What are you doing has obviously been a great opening question for Twitter. It's quite generally open, but you can frame almost anything in a more open way that can pull everybody in instead of I'm just telling you. And if you're in the act of genuinely trying to figure it out, it will be much more interesting because emotionally you'll be present and you'll be really, uncertain. And I think you guys know when you're trying to solve problems at work, probably is when you start trying to be more collaborative, I would think, right? I mean, at some point you're going to be like, what do I think? I mean, maybe some people sit all alone, but I would think once you're unsure, it's kind of nice to be with someone else, to be unsure together. That kind of feels a little easier, doesn't it? And then unsure, you feel really connected because you had that unsure time together. And that's a together piece that I'm pretty interested in, and emotion and reading emotion You're having, like, I'm sure, I'm a little scared, right? And, you know, we tend to not go all the way to the feeling words, happy, sad, angry. You know, there's only a few of them. Because they're supposed to be vulnerable, or they are. They're very real. They're kind of the point. And vulnerability is perceived as bad often. I'm starting to schwitz out here. Vulnerability is the most powerful thing you can use for social engagement, in my opinion. But since especially dudes, and white dudes especially, hate that word, if they're scared of it, just call it risk. They like that. It's the same thing. So that's part of how you open stuff up. So part of what I want to make sure I really say this because I went so much time with, you're almost all interaction designers, right? So, no, okay. Wait, I have to give you the thing. Pardon me, excuse me. Hi, nice to meet you. What's up? Hey, we're at dinner, right?
Yes.
I didn't get your name.
Sylvia.
Sylvia, you too. Okay.
Yes. What's your question?
Can you get him on the podcast? Am I doing it right? Okay. Here's the question. It's hard. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
What's your name?
Dan.
You sure?
Yes.
Okay, got that right. Dan, you're not an interaction designer.
No, but I like to see what people are doing with it.
You just like them. That's nice. You guys are appreciated. That's sweet. That's awesome. I'm not happy, I promise. You can put it back if it makes you feel better. I'm not into making you do anything. I'm just trying to tell you. I'm not going to ask you anything harder than what I just asked you.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do?
Design other kinds of software.
What kind of stuff?
Every possible kind. Well, right now.
Does it use interaction design?